Okay, but the other thing I had to talk about was in my guild chat. If we look here, as soon as that last update hit, I just blasted these three dungeon times and got rank 1, which was awesome. Felt really good. But it also means that I'm cutting like something like 5 minutes off my 30 run, which means I'm finishing my Amiria's luck about 15 minutes faster than I used to, which is a pretty substantial change up. Um, Pretty cool, pretty cool. We'll run through those teams in a minute here, but I guess we first need to talk about why I was able to do that and what this last update was. If you haven't seen already, the deck update. Um, so normally, I'm just gonna throw random monsters in here. Normally, your dungeons look like this, where you've got like the orange border or the brown border. Um, and they use your it's not even ruined. They use your default runes. Whatever rune set you have put on them, you run through the dungeon. You try to min max your runes between the dungeons. That's changed. Actually, everything that was difficult about the game, in my opinion, in the last 5 months has gone away, which is awesome. So normally everything looks like this. We're using those runes. Whatever. If we save this deck, which I'm not going to do because this is a horrible deck, um, you can then edit the deck. Once you're in here, these are not your regular runes. I mean, they are your regular runes, but these are not coming out of your inventory. So if I manage this and I come into here, I can use any monster in my inventory on these monsters, and it doesn't affect any other piece of content, period. It's only these 5 monsters that care about what runes I have. This allows us to put our absolute best 5 rune sets on just this team and not care about anything else. So we do have to still min-max between these 5 monsters, but not the 50 monsters that we had to worry about before. Big change. So what I did was I built the craziest frickin' team I possibly could for these 3 dungeons and put the best rune sets I possibly could on them. And I was able to instantly beat my own best. I was able to beat most of my guild's best. It was fun. It felt really good. But now that we talked about what this update was, we can get into what teams I used to blow through like that. But that's why my monsters look all blue here, because the blue border means they're using the cloned runes. But check this out. Now that I was able to put my best rune set on my Julie, blam. Oh, it messed up already, but it's fine because Logan cleans up. It's just not going to be as fast this time. It goofs sometimes. It just does. Um, there's a lot of ways you can replace this team. I don't know what you could replace the Frodo with, so if you don't have him, you're probably waiting for the Lord of the Rings non-collab units to come out, which should be the end of this month, I think. I hope. We'll run that back, see if we can get the perfect run. Oh, I might have changed Julie's uh stuff. I was trying to test to see if I could get it a little faster. I might have changed hers just a little bit. No, it cleared the second wave just fine, which is more difficult. I don't know what's happening. Um You saw the time though. I mean that first run went pretty well. It just wasn't quite perfect. I don't know what went wrong. Oh, I do know what went wrong on this one. So my consistent team, I don't run this team most of the time because the difference between them is simply Lucas versus Prillia. Prillia has a much higher defense break rate, so consistency wise, it's just better. But Lucas applies a brand as well, which amplifies the damage, so you do clear faster if he hits his shit. So if you're trying to max speed and just hit that high score, the Lucas works. It's what I use to get that best time. But we're not having her go until the mid boss. And you can see that was just a little bit slower. That wasn't a perfect run either. I think this team tops out at like 28 seconds. So if we go through the first team, this is the Frodo. Artifacts are like this. I don't know what the skill 3 accuracy is about there. Actually, I don't really know what Frodo's artifacts are about. Don't look at these. Here's the Julie's runes though, and hers are pretty good. I would like to get her attack power up just a smidge higher. But her artifacts look like this. Added damage from attack, I believe, is the most important one for the attack artifact. I did manage to average like 11.5% crit damage no matter the target's health. So here's Prillia. Big important thing, 100% accuracy if you can. Technically, I think 85 is the required because she has attribute advantage. I'm pulling some extra accuracy on artifact, but nothing crazy. These artifacts kind of suck. Lynn has our homunculus runes because her skill animations are just ever so slightly faster, but she does require slightly better runes, which is why I'm using this intangible instead of another fight rune, because my fight runes kind of suck. Other than this one's nice. But also attack relics on pretty much everybody. I think everybody. Yeah, everybody. Own turn 1 target crit damage is a big deal on Lynn. More enemy max HP is a good idea because she's going early in the team rotation. And by that I mean she's going before Luna, so the boss still has over half health. Pretty much always. And then Luna, we want our execute runes. These are going to be your Liam artifacts. What the... Oh, damage on water, right? Which is, again, the most ideal, theoretically. Like, you pretty much always want damage on element in these element ones if possible. Anyway, this is the consistent team. Those are their artifacts. Those are their runes. This is the speed team. These are the artifacts. These are the runes. Again, 100% accuracy. I think I just literally moved my Prillia's runes over to Lucas. And this 2 slot's intentionally not maxed for speed syncing. I really like to rune up as best I can and throw a not powered up slot 2 on, and then just tick it up until my speed syncs up correctly. It's just easier for me sometimes. Julie, I think, is identical. I don't think there's any changes between Julie's artifacts or runes. No, I think what I did was I loaded the deck and then I took a monster out. It really doesn't matter. Here we go. and then I saved the deck. Is how I did that, which meant all four of these monsters have the same runes on them still, but I didn't have to rebuild anything. It was just super easy. Um, see here. Yeah, so Lyn and Luna are going to be identical to the other Lyn and Luna. But those are the Giants runes. Moving on to dragons. The dragons. Which team did I actually hit the record with? Lucas. This one. So dragons is another one that originally I was using Shaina instead of Lucas, and just adding Lucas sped the team up pretty much a second or two pretty consistently. But again, if he doesn't hit that defense break, it can be a problem that you're even running him. Louis Aragon, like the books Aragon. Rune quality just a little bit off, one-shotting the boss. Oh, on the 21-second Punisher's Crypt. Jelly. I need to get that working next. That's one of my next projects now that I got these three going. But 24 seconds on this team, which is actually 4 seconds faster than that the Liam team speed guide I put up. So we'll definitely have to do a full in-depth video on this at some point. But for the time being, I'm probably just gonna chop this up and post it. This is the team I was running originally, and now that it has its best runes on it, we can kind of see the difference between the two teams. My Julie is actually able to one-shot the wave now, so I don't need Shaina to be doing what she's doing anyways, which is why I ended up switching the team up. Yeah, the only RTA monsters I don't have relics on are not 40 right now. But if you saw at the end of that, we had about a 25 versus this is a 24. So we are cutting about a second down just by running Lucas because Shayna's not required for the perfect AI run anymore. So there's that. I do think Shayna's still slightly more consistent, but for a 2 second trade off, if you fail only 1 to 2% more, technically it's still faster just to blast the losses and run a 30 run of Lucas because, I mean, after 24 runs, you get a free run, which is your loss. So, yeah, I forgot that too, to be honest. I went to slap relics on a couple people and it wouldn't let me. Um, did I didn't show runes. I didn't show runes. So here's runes. I do think, yeah, even just looking at speeds, I can see there's a difference between the two teams in runes, so we'll go over both. But here's Frodo. We don't need the 100% accuracy. We really don't need anything on Frodo. I like the accuracy because he can give a defense break, which can help make up for the Lucas missing sometimes. But really, all he's here for is that passive is just to attack buff quickly and get out of the way of the team. After that, we've got Julie going. She has a 100% crit rate because the side crystals are not fire. Put it that way. And I didn't want to miss on them. Sometimes you miss a crit on those crystals, and it makes the whole team fail. Like, I don't know why. The golems are so much tankier, but the attribute advantage means it just doesn't matter. But the crystals being not fire means you sometimes miss that crit, and that missed crit meant that my whole team was failing. So we went to 100% crit rate. Um, Lucas, I've got 100% accuracy and nearly 100% crit rate on. Um, Same deal. He doesn't have attribute advantage, so I did not want him missing a single defense break on that boss if at all possible. And the defense break is relative to whether or not you hit a crit. So, right. Crit rate 30%, but only if you have the shield on him. So, his second turn he'll have 100% crit rate. His first he does not, which is why I have it on him. Dulcim, you can also use Kyle in this case, the water poison master. Big damage dealer, lots of attack if you can. My runes are not great on him, to be honest. They could be much better, but nice and slow. Added damage from attack. The damage dealt on fire are the big deals there. Last but not least, we have Liam, and again, we're going high crit damage, high attack, as high on both as you can possibly get. This guy should cut the boss's health in half from half. Like, it should be a full collapse. If your Liam cannot take the boss from 50% health to 0, this team can fail. Just off that. As soon as the boss catches immunity, we have no ways of dealing with it, so you have to kill him before that happens. Liam is the way to do that. If he fails, the whole team kind of fails. That being said, if your Dulcim can't put the boss at half health, it doesn't matter how hard your Liam hits. So try to balance those two. This is just what I had to do to make that work. Now, the Shaina team, as I said, might be slightly more consistent. I'm not sure. It also is just easier to rune because you're using Shaina's perfect AI condition to clean the wave versus in my first team here, we're just using an attack buffed Julie and expecting her to kill everything. If your Julie can't one-shot a wave, you will want to use the Shaina team. In this case, Shaina does go second. Thank you to whoever it was that commented that on my YouTube channel. I can't remember their name right now, and I'm very sorry for that, but I appreciate you so much for pointing out that if Julie goes before Shaina, Shaina will always skill 2. Very big deal. Let me rephrase that. If Julie goes before Shaina, everyone's at 30% health. If everyone's at 30% health, Shaina will always skill 2. That's the key there to making this kind of stuff work, because this mechanic gets overused in a lot of speed teams, and I didn't understand how it worked, so I couldn't run those teams, and I don't know, it was frustrating. Anyway, Julie looks very similar between the two teams. Actually, given that her speed's the same, she might be the same across the two teams. 5142. Yeah, okay. So my Julie's just a clone. It looks like my Dulcim is just a clone, and again, Water Poison Master works just fine. Kyle is great. And then Liam does also look to be the same. 43 and 33% enemy max HP less. Dulcim's got damage from attack, damage dealt on fire. Julie's got as much damage overall as I could possibly put into her. The 11% attack was a big deal because she does have quite a bit of attack. Um, some skill accuracy on Shaina, though she literally doesn't need it with the 100%. I don't know. But then Frodo's just on a fight set. That's it. What he actually does doesn't really matter. Um, that's about it. Those are the teams there. So that's Dragons. That's how we got the new best time there. Go over to Necro. The big deal here was adding Siren. Um, she replaced my Shaman, and she does not have relics yet. So there's that. There is a little bit of RNG involved in this team, which you'll probably see right away because there's a high chance that this does not hit the best time. That being said, I haven't seen it fail yet. The entire idea, though, is... Oh, okay, there we go. Abigail sets up, hits the defense break, Route cleans the wave, and my Route did not actually kill everything in that one, which is making this much slower. But then she sets up, and Astar just mutilates the boss. Ideally, we still have one team up ability up before we kill the boss, which allows us to get a second turn rotation in on the boss, and Astar just kills it, which is how we end up at the sub 30-second time. But that's not what happened here, and it's usually not what happens. We'll give it another run or two to see if we can't trigger the conditions, but we really need Astar to be pulled in the team up for this to work properly. And that's the RNG part of it. Oh, Rug killed himself. No. Is this still clear? This might still clear. Oh, nope, Astar got stolen. That's rough. That was very unfortunate. The only downside to the deck edit thing, and I'm not sure that I did this, but it doesn't warn you when you go to grind or gem a rune that's in a deck. And I don't know if that actually changes the rune in the deck or if that just changes it in your inventory and the deck keeps the photocopy of when you made the deck. I'm not sure how that works yet. Um, but if it does change the deck when you gem or grind a rune, that might be what I did here. Is I gave Rauk a little too much damage and not enough health because of a grind change for a different team. But we're still holding steady at like a 30-ish second run. It's definitely not that 28-second best that we hit, and I don't know that we're gonna get that in this period of time. We might throw it on in the background while we do some RTA, see if it just shows up again. But it is kind of rare that that best condition actually does happen. See, like, we're not even pulling Astar right now in any of the team ups for some reason. And then Abigail used her skill 3 on the mid wave. I still think this clears just fine. It's just that we're not getting that 28-second run every time. Or realistically ever. I haven't even seen it actually happen. It was just on in a 30 run and it maybe we roll this. Okay. Mm, still an interesting Artemiel rune, maybe. Never mind. But yeah, those were the three teams. Let's go into Necro's runes. That's what we didn't do. So Abigail, 100% accuracy, triple fight. We do have 80% crit rate and some crit damage. That's not required. It's just nice. It does speed it up just a little bit on the consistency end, but I don't think it has any effect on the top outrun. Um, we've got Ikaru. I don't believe you need his skill ups to make this work, but I just finished mine. I do have 2 fight sets on him and a guard set to make sure I'm hitting the 3200 defense. Rauk is a little low on the attack power, but pretty high on the crit damage for me. Well, no, not even. No, he just sucks. My Rauk's terrible. Yeah, you should be able to beat this. I think most of you can build a better Rauk than this. This is kind of shit. Siren just slapped her together. High crit rate, high crit damage, triple fight. Nothing too crazy in the stat line. My fight runes aren't great. Astar, I had to put on Vampire because otherwise she was just smoking herself into the mid waves, and well, you don't want that. Um, it's kind of frustrating to get to the end of the run, like in the boss room, and then fail because your Astar is already dead, even though she never got hit. She just blows herself up. So the Vamp was my way around that. At one point, I was running Shield on a couple of units to make sure the same happened. I know a couple speed teams will utilize Lucian in the same capacity. You throw some shield sets on somebody so he doesn't blow himself up, and then you Lucian skill 3 the waves. It's funny, it works, but the Vamp is just reasonably safer. So if you're having consistency issues, Vamp on the Astar. But those are the teams. Those are the runes. Let's throw a 30 run on and get into some RTA, I think. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow for more, drop a comment. I love hearing feedback, and if you haven't already, make sure you join the Discord server, because we got some cool giveaways and tips and tricks in there and whatnot. So come hang out, join the community. We'd love to have you. Thanks for watching. See ya.